The third and final stakes race on Saturday at Del Mar is it is the best betting race on the card. It's the Grade 1 Bing Crosby Stakes. 6 furlongs for older sprinters. A field of 10 entered this race, but we do not expect all 10 to start. And a key defection from this race will be number 4, Mackenzie. Mackenzie would have been, or actually still is, the preliminary favorite for this race at odds of 2-1. But trainer Bob Baffert on Wednesday said that he expects to scratch Mackenzie and wait for the 7 furlong Grade 2 Pat O'Brien on August 29th. It's unfortunate from a betting perspective that Mackenzie is not in the field, because I thought he was a big bet against. I think that Baffert may have realized the same thing. Mackenzie has never raced shorter than 7 furlongs. We expect him to scratch, and with the scratch of Mackenzie, if you can identify the favorite, well, you're a better odds maker than most. The favoritism is absolutely up for grabs. Maybe it'll be number 3, Desert Law. Maybe it'll be the 3-year-old, number 9, Collusion Illusion. Let's hope it's not number 8, Wildman Jack, because that happens to be the horse that I like. Let's talk a little bit about this field, first of all. The last 20 years, every single Bing Crosby winner went into this race having earned a Beyer speed figure of 98 or higher. Now, that is a severe challenge for the 3-year-old Collusion Illusion, who has plenty of upside. He's 4 for 4 in sprints, but the career best number earned by Collusion Illusion is a mere 91. He is not fast enough to win this race yet. Keyword being yet. He's a 3-year-old who has started only twice this year. He continues to improve, and maybe he will get there. I think the Collusion Illusion will be among the favorites in this race. I just am not sure if he is fast enough. The figures say he's not. As for 3-year-olds in this race, that's not an issue at all. In 2009, Sensational won the race as a 3-year-old facing older. In 2010, Smiling Tiger won the race as a 3-year-old, and in 2013, Golden Sense did not win, but he did finish second as a 3-year-old facing older. So age is not the issue for Collusion Illusion, the only 3-year-old in the field. What is an issue is he fast enough? And secondly, is there enough pace to run at? You would think that a 6 furlong Grade 1 sprint in California would be filled with speed, and there would be some super gassy horses up there on the front end. But the fact is, there's not. There's nobody in this field who you can look at and go, that horse is going to go 21 and change, 44. Nobody in this field has that extreme type of speed, unless it happens to be a horse that's going to be trying dirt for the very first time. And we'll talk about Wildman Jack in just a minute. But first, let's talk a little bit about Mackenzie and Fashionably Fast. Fashionably Fast is in this field, and he will run. Let's go ahead and take a look at the most recent start by Fashionably Fast. It was in the Grade 2 Triple Bend, and that's Fashionably Fast in the green Harris Farm silks on the inside. And Mackenzie's basically just toying with Fashionably Fast. Mackenzie will go on and win this race by a length and a half. But Fashionably Fast ran well in defeat. In fact, he earned a 95 Beyer speed figure. That's the highest figure of his career. And the Triple Bend has already proven to be a productive race. The horse that Fashionably Fast held off to finish second, Dark Vader, came back to win, and so did the 5th place finisher from the Triple Bend. So it was a good race in which Fashionably Fast ran. He ran well. He earned a good number, a 95 Beyer speed figure, still short of that 98 that every other Bing Crosby winner has had the last 20 years. And Fashionably Fast will be forwardly placed in a race that doesn't have a whole lot of speed. Let's take a look at Collusion Illusion. His most recent start was in the Grade 3 Las Barrera, and that's Ragtime Blues up on the front end, who looked like he might steal this thing, but Collusion Illusion and Flavian Pratt in the white cap will go blowing right past Ragtime Blues to win going away. A good, solid, sharp win by Collusion Illusion. Now 4 for 4 in sprints. That was his second graded stakes sprint win, and he also is 2 for 2 at Del Mar. So we know that Collusion Illusion is a graded stakes winning sprinter against his own age group. We know that he likes this racetrack, and trainer Mark Glatt could have sent him to Saratoga for the Grade 1 Alan Jerkins on Saturday. He elected to keep him home to face older in the Bing Crosby. Probably a wise choice because this year's Bing Crosby field just does not have quite the same depth or strength as previous runnings. Collusion Illusion is my second preference. I respect the trainer. I like the horse. The jockey's on fire, Pratt. And maybe Collusion Illusion will continue his upward pattern and improve off that 91 Beyer speed figure. But he's not there yet. And the lack of early speed in the Bing Crosby field does not necessarily work in Collusion Illusion's favor. So if it's not Collusion Illusion and if it's not Fashionably Fast, who is it? Well, I like a horse who's never raced on dirt in his entire 9-start career, and that's Wildman Jack. Wildman Jack basically came into his own earlier this year in Dubai when he ran off the screen in the Nad Al Sheba Turf Sprint. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. It's worth replay, and I know it's on grass, but this was Wildman Jack's breakout performance. A gelded son of Golden Sense, trained by Doug O'Neill. Fernando Haro was aboard, and that's Wildman Jack closest to the fence. That's a big, deep field behind him. Not only did Wildman Jack win, he killed him. He won by nearly 5 lengths in course record time, and this was a devastating performance by Wildman Jack. That was his second start in the Middle East. He came home soon thereafter. He won a Grade 3 turf sprint at Santa Anita, barely by a nose. It was not a good race. And then the last time out, he completely bombed at Keeneland. He shipped back to Keeneland right on top of a race. It was the Grade 3 Shakertown, the Grade 2 Shakertown. And according to trainer Doug O'Neill, it was hot. It was humid back there. He shipped in late. And Wildman Jack, for the first time in his career, he just didn't show up. He ran poorly. He didn't show any speed, no energy, and he finished last of 13 as the 3-1 favorite in the Shakertown. It was a complete throwout race. So O'Neill brought him home, and he and owner Glenn Sorgenstein said, what are we going to do now? They knew that the Bing Crosby was still out there, but they also know that the Bing Crosby was on dirt. So they decided to wait until Wildman Jack worked on dirt last weekend, see how he did in that dirt workout, and then decide whether or not to enter Wildman Jack. Well, all that Wildman Jack did on July 26th, that was last Sunday, was work from the gate in 46-1. That was the fastest half-mile workout by 1 full second, and he did it from the gate. Maybe Wildman Jack, whose first 9 starts have been on grass, maybe he's been a dirt horse all along. His sire, Golden Sense, was a top dirt horse, finished second in this race in 2013. And Wildman Jack has an upfront style of running that should play well in this field. I don't think they're going to be going very fast. If Wildman Jack runs like he trained last Sunday, I think he's long gone. He's listed at 8-1. His odds are probably going to be half that, but at 4-1 or higher, I think that's not a bad price. On number 8, Wildman Jack, who I like to win this race. Let's talk real briefly about the entire field. Number 1, Lexitonian. 1 week ago, Saturday, he was in the Grade 1 Vanderbilt at Saratoga, but then Whitmore broke through the gate, ran off a half furlong or so, and while they were waiting for Whitmore to reload, Lexitonian got a little antsy and squirrely, and he sat down inside the starting gate. Automatic scratch. The very next day, trainer Jack Sisterson worked him a half mile, and 1 day after that, on Monday, he shipped him to Del Mar. Lexitonian has numbers that make him a fit. He was pointed all season for the Vanderbilt. The Bing Crosby is a backup, and he should show speed from the inside post. And Lexitonian at a big price is definitely worth consideration. Number 2, Any Port in a Storm. He's won half his starts. He's a good, solid Northern California-based sprinter coming off a win in a 4-horse field. I suspect that he might be outclassed, but when any horse who's won half his starts, you have to respect. Number 3, Desert Law. Runner-up last year in the Bing Crosby, but 1 year ago, he was going into the Bing Crosby in peak form. He had earned a 100 Beyer speed figure in his previous start. He had trained super over the Del Mar racetrack. That's ancient history. He's coming into this year's Bing Crosby off an 85 Beyer speed figure. He also grabbed a quarter and missed a workout early last month. He's not in as solid of form as he was a year ago. Number 4, McKenzie, best horse in the race, expected to scratch. Number 5, PR Radio Star. He won an allowance optional claiming race last time out. I think he's overmatched, but you have to respect that solid, sharp win over this racetrack. Number 6, Fashionably Fast. We talked about him. He's a hard-knocking horse, trained by Dean Pedersen, 7 wins from 17 starts, runner-up to McKenzie. He wouldn't be a complete surprise. Number 7 is Law-Abiding Citizen. I suspect 6 Furlongs is too short, and even his trainer, Mark Glatt, he did not want to run Law-Abiding Citizen and Collusion Illusion against each other, and he acknowledged that the 7 furlong distance of the Pat O'Brien later in August will be more to his liking than the 6 furlong race. Okay, Wildman Jack, my top selection. I hope he goes completely ignored in the betting. He's 8-1. I'll take 4-1. Collusion Illusion, you have to respect because he's never lost a sprint and he has so much upside. We don't know how good he will be, but he's not that fast yet, at least not on numbers. Look for him late. He's my second preference, by the way, Collusion Illusion. Finally, down on the bottom, a horse by the name of Heartwood, who is 8-4-32 in his career. This year's Bing Crosby, it's wide open. McKenzie is going to scratch. That leaves a mishmash field of 9. I like Wildman Jack, a turf sprinter, to score an upset in this dirt sprint on Saturday at Del Mar.